My next guest was a buyer as well. Let's bring in Key Advisor Group CEO Eddie Ghabour. Eddie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So here's the interesting thing. Yesterday, we lost almost $600 billion NVIDIA, dubious distinction. But back in not long ago, a few months ago, they lost $279 billion, came back. Not long ago, they lost $228 billion, came back. Lost $212 billion, came back. It came back every single time. And I know you said you were a buyer. You and your clients were buyers yesterday.
We looked at yesterday as a black swan event for that stock. We didn't go into the day thinking we were going to buy, but at down 16, 17%, we had to jump in. So clients that were underweight in NVIDIA, we put cash to work, and then we put the other half of cash that we raised last week into the other areas of the market. But NVIDIA, to me, now, they had a lot of technical damage. We want to see it hold that 122 level today. I didn't like it breaking to 200 yesterday, so we want to see how it closes and finishes. I'd like to see it where it is on accelerating volume.
Broadcom, by the way, made the list. No one talked about Broadcom yesterday, but, you know, it's been a huge winner, and it got hammered as well. Are you looking at that at all?
We are. We actually have that in some of our individual stock portfolios for clients. I think it's really going to see what this administration says, and more importantly, what the earnings reports are going to say in this coming week in regards to whether there's going to see a reduction of spending on AI.
I want to talk to you about earnings. Boeing, I thought, had a so-so earnings report, popped. In fact, the reaction to earnings, I want people to see this. The reaction to earnings really the best they've been since 2018. So if you post the right number and you give the right guidance, the street is rewarding you. And that was sort of the central bullish argument for most Wall Street. Most of the folks on Wall Street who thought this would be a good year said it had to hinge on earnings because, you know, of course, expansion, the multiple expansion kind of got pushed out there.
That's exactly right, and that's why stock selection and sector selection in 2025 is critical, because I don't think 25 is going to be a very easy year to navigate. What we've seen so far this year, I think, is what you're going to have to be prepared for the rest of this year.
So that means you're going to be a little bit nimble and very, very selective. I want to bring this up, though. We are broadening out just a little bit, though, right? I think we have another chart. No, we don't. The broadening out. You know, last week we saw stocks trading above their 50-day moving average go from like 10, 12% up about 40, 50%. So, and even yesterday, right, the market's starting to broadening out here. Are you liking that at all?
Absolutely. Yesterday was not a bad day in the market. Everyone was talking about...
I started off showing like 69% of the S&P was up.
Everyone's saying market crash. It was an NVIDIA crash and an AI crash, but yesterday was a bullish sign for us, and we saw this broadening out. And so we're broadening out our portfolio as well, too. So I look at that as very healthy for underneath of the hood.
Speaking of which, you like the financials?
Absolutely. Deregulation, M&A activity, and with these interest rates higher, some of these banks with bond desks are going to see a lot of activity there. So this is a pretty good moment right now for financials. We haven't owned them in a while.
How important is it that rates come down for the smaller, mid-size and smaller banks?
So this is interesting. I think if the Fed doesn't cut rates, the long end stays where it is.
Right.
Because when they cut rates, it's inflationary, and we don't need that. And so if they stay where they are and the 10-year stays under 4.7, it's going to be very bullish for those and the smaller names.
XLY?
XLY, Amazon, Tesla, two big holdings in here. We bought a half a position yesterday. We're going to wait till earnings. If it drops after earnings, we're going to double that position.
Tesla is going to be, everyone's watching Tesla big time.
Absolutely.
Meta held up yesterday. Meta's holding up today. Some are saying this might actually be the DeepSeek ultimate winner. Open source, you know, they just announced $60 billion. Maybe they'll have to spend a lot less than that. Where you think, obviously you're buying it, you think maybe they were some sort of DeepSeek winner as well?
Absolutely. Meta, we came into this year, Meta and NVIDIA were our top two plays. Meta right now is taking the lead because they are a hedge either way.
Right.
Small business sentiment through the roof. They're going to get so much ad revenue from small business. And then if DeepSeek actually is what they say it is, they're not going to have to spend nearly as much on AI. And that's going to help their margins as well, too. So I'd love to see that at 700 post earnings.
All right, my man. Great seeing you, Eddie.
Good seeing you. Thank you, Charles.
All right.